Good morning. Welcome to Flat Earth Early Bird number 1585. I'm your host, Arwin. And before I start the show, please don't forget to share it on any platform you deem fit. And if you haven't already, subscribe to my channel, hit the bell notification so you know when I'm going live, which is normally 1 p.m. Amsterdam time in the weekdays and 2 p.m. Amsterdam time in the weekend. And please also do support me through the PayPal and Patreon. That would be much appreciated, and I can always use the support. Thank you, Skeptic, by the way, for PayPal donation last night. It's like a bit of a weird mood, but positive apparently. I don't know what happened. You'll have to get back to me about that. Anyway. Right. So, the weather today. Hello, Richard G, first in chat. Weather today is beautiful. Couple of fluffy little clouds. Seemingly a bit of... Oh god. Thanks. Yeah, there's the Moroccan wedding. Apparently yesterday was when the party started, and now there's the line of cars over there honking as they do. Was a bit of music earlier. I waited with starting the show until they finished. Right, and they're past. But yeah, a couple of fluffy little clouds. Bit of haze, but doesn't really seem all that big. And lots of blue sky. Warm sun, like people sitting in the sun and all that. Although, yeah, maybe it's not just like t-shirt weather warm yet. Right. Because there is still a bit of wind. Anyway, in here, it's cooling off a little bit, but it was like, well, warm enough to be in my t-shirt. Maybe I'll just keep it a bit cool like this. Right, anyway, let's check the temperature. 16 degrees Celsius, right? Though it says it's gonna be 18. What? Wow. Whole weekend seems to be pretty warm. And then Monday it's gonna get all cloudy again and then cool off Tuesday. According to this prediction. Okay, whatever. Never really know, do you? It's like every day it kind of changes. The prediction, yeah. Anyway. How are you doing, Richard G? Anybody else out there? It is Saturday, the 29th of April, 2023. Got some salad over here. But I already feel pretty good. Had a good sleep, although it was very late. Man, Owen does late streams now, so that's just... well, it is what it is. Well, in a way, it is kind of convenient because during that time, there's not a lot of other shows that I typically be watching. So in a way, it's almost kind of handy. But it takes some getting used to. Also, Refracted Philosophy was live even after that, and I hung around there, which was like past 3. So yeah, I actually went to bed pretty late, but I don't really feel bad because of it. Anyway, hello Richard G, good to see you. I mean, Ilish G, bunch of G's. Take pictures, guy. Yeah, Richard G, that sounds like persistent trails. And it does look really weird and unnatural. I know. Well, that's not really happening here, so I'm glad. For myself, at least. Right, so yeah, I got a title for today, which is kind of in the direct response to the after show yesterday. Flat Earth Debate after show. I did really not show up during the live show, sort of in the end a bit, because Nathan did extend the live show. But we still went on pretty long after that, which is kind of like, it's been a while since that happened. And yeah, we were also kind of confronting Nathan in that after show with just, well, it was basically a union confrontation. Brian started the union. And yeah, it was good. It was interesting. And we had like a really great conversation after that, like old-fashioned technical, about relative density and some issues, seeming issues. I mean, most of the guys really know to just handwave dismiss it because it is stupid, and you could find things wrong with it, but that Dell and Raichi are like doubting something about relative density and are assuming acceleration upward or something, right? And that brings a whole bunch of hassle. Well, I know exactly what's going on there, like exactly, and it's really hard to get through because of the different types of perspectives that people bring to the scenario, right? Because how does the relative density really work when it's more complex, the situation, right? Because relative density, the basic outlining, the intense detailed description is based on what happens in a medium that's stationary. It's that simple. And yeah, thereby also, of course, the antecedent is a medium that's stationary, which is our realm, right? And then from that very specific perspective, you can work out the mechanics of relative density. Now, if you're going to have a medium, like an object, in this medium, an object that has things within it that are able to maneuver fluidly within it, right? And then that medium thing moves, now you got a weird issue, because now whatever happens in there doesn't correlate or apply anymore to the overall relative density mechanisms. Why? Because it is moving. When something is moving, yeah, an effective force axial shift happens, right? And the most basic way to demonstrate is by having a helium balloon on a little string in your car and then accelerating, and you'll notice that the balloon will shift forward. And this is a direct demonstration of what happens when a medium in which things can maneuver fluidly, when it accelerates. The density axis shifts. And this was the original thing that I even used as a foundation for my argumentation of gravity exists, it's just a flat gravity thing, right? Before I realized the whole situation around the scientific method, which completely invalidates it as just merely a concept. Well, that merely a concept still stands. The effects still stand. And here's the weird thing. Einstein realized that very much and basically flauntingly just said, like, yeah, like the Earth is accelerating up. Which is technically what it summarizes into. the effects, right? Because the stationary realm, it is stationary, absolutely literally, is acting as if the whole thing is accelerating upward permanently, which it isn't, right? Because there's more consequences, of course, like to accelerate in space has other things having that subjected to you, etc., etc. Gets a bit complicated, right? So you don't have to wonder, is the realm accelerating up? It isn't. But when you start to figure out axial shifts within a medium that is moving within the realm, you'll start to notice that the axial way the relative densities basically shift, right? The less dense goes up, the denser goes down. This shifts when you accelerate in a specific direction. Why? Because it is as if there's another force combining with the passive force, which would be as if we were accelerating up. That apparent, not real force, right? It only comes into play once you start applying acceleration to a medium, right? And then in that sense, you, by a parabolic flight, you can neutralize the axis by countermanding the apparent acceleration upward. This is basically all mathematical, right? And this is where the major confusion just never really settles because of the micromechanics, right? But what effectively happens, how relative density operates, is on the foundation of the axis in a stationary situation. And then the axis is upward. Less dense goes up, denser goes down in a stationary situation. As soon as whatever medium is separated, as soon as it starts accelerating, let's just say it's going to accelerate that way. Well, guess what's going to happen? That way is going to be combined with the apparent that way. What happens? You know what happens. This happens. To the relative density axial. It shifts in that way. Right? And it makes it all just really, basically all the fantastical, the physics, science fiction, fantastical things lovers, they're all going to be squirting over this, of course, because it's like this thing, so there is an acceleration, we can imagine, yes, there's something that you can think of as it. Yeah, that's there. You can think of the realm as if it were accelerating upward. If you do that, then suddenly relative density reveals a set of mechanics that completely reveal exactly how things motion in a passive state. So you can make the density a fractal situation, like a medium in a medium in a medium in a medium, and then however it's moving, it's all going to be combining the forces applied to create within the smallest medium the axial shift. And I bet you this can be hyper predictable, as in perfectly predictable. You can get it perfect because this is exactly how it works, right? This is the revelation of the complete works of relative density in every conceivable scenario. Every conceivable scenario, no matter how complex. You can pre-calculate it based on what I just explained, and it will perfectly work out. Exactly as that model. This is the full advanced relative density theory, which is outside of the basic scientific method, which is what it rests on, of course, the basic experimentation. And this is basically the complex theory version, expounding upon the mechanics that are revealed from this naturally occurring phenomenon-based experiment, the relative density experiment, which is absolutely scientifically valid, right? Advanced relative density theory is an expounding on the basic mechanics of that and giving it a model. So in itself, it is not a scientific theory, advanced relative density, but it is absolutely correct. I guarantee this. Guarantee this. Right? And it sounds a little foolish because I haven't actually done the physical test to completely work this out. But I mean, every time my mind is unleashed upon the subject, it's always exactly this conclusion since the very first scenario that I got an oversight, which is a whole while ago. And then I get like oversights about things that I don't really have a grasp on yet, which means I'm seeing it, but I can't explain it. And this happens like a lot in my early life. I see things, I understand it, but I can't explain it. Happened to me especially when I was really young. I start asking until I heard enough, then I get it, but I still wouldn't be able to explain it, or very very little about it. Even though I would see more, but I wouldn't be able to explain that back. I didn't know how to. I've spent a lot of time in my life figuring out how to explain it, whatever I see. Anyway, what the density axis mean? The density axis is the axis, the vector through which the density moves in a passive scenario, right? Relative density. The less dense object, isolated object from the medium it is in, goes up in a stationary setting, which is natural world. And the more dense, isolated from the medium it is in object, goes down. Right? That is relative density. That's how it always works. Now, outside of that natural scenario, now take a medium. And yeah, you could argue, oh yeah, a person with a bladder jumps off a cliff in the ocean. What's going on in the bladder? You could feel forces being subjected to your internal organs if you have the sense for it, but I mean, it's a person that's just experiencing it. I mean, it gets a little convoluted natural phenomenon wise. I tried. I think most people would agree to accept that, but I mean, I don't need to. It's still based on relative density. It is the more complex, expounded version, the fractal implicating version, how it all works, right? And it addresses what is normally the up-down axis within relative density within the stationary scenario, which is the natural world, and then see what happens when you take a medium within which things are that then starts moving in a direction, accelerating. And then you'll see palpably, measurably, visibly, you could record that the apparent axis starts to shift, right? You take let's just say, you could do this very simply in a car. You take a balloon, helium balloon on a string, tied to the middle, like a poker or something in the car, and have a pendulum with a little string hanging from the ceiling at the same time, right? And then, you'll know, of course, the pendulum is just hanging like that, and the balloon is just hanging like that. Now then you accelerate in that direction, right? Guess what? Pendulum, balloon, until until you stop accelerating, and you go stable speed, and then you stop or you brake, and then it's right. Now that's the axis shift. That's the apparent axis within the medium. Within the medium. That's shifting. Right? Now, in the basic relative density, all that's happening is that an object is being subjected to a force and moving. So, basic relative density would basically ignore whatever is happening in an object that is moving within a medium. But advanced relative density can address a medium within a medium within a medium within a medium, potentially. Endless mediums within mediums. And what happens to the relative density axis within each medium based on how it's all moving and how a medium is moving within a medium and how a medium within that medium might be moving, right? Crazy micro you could get. The fact is that you could argue that all objects that have fluid content in some way, which would arguably be most life forms, have like a fractal of relative density scenarios happening, right? The whole body, an organ within the body, a cell that's free floating within the organ, and micro things or thingies in the cell, right? Dude, all these things all have their own relative density axis situation. Yeah? I'm serious. This is not... it might sound like science fiction, but this is real. That's the real gravity thing that is so palpable to us. It's relative density. And when you subject a force to a medium that is like an object within the medium of the natural realm, then how the relative density makes things divide shifts in its axis accordingly, based on the force applied to it, or the acceleration. Yeah, it would only be a force applied through acceleration in that sense. And then the apparent axis shifts, and you can then formulate that function mathematically, how that all works, how that applies, like in some kind of interactive force-based model or architectural force model. You can apply that if, as a base setting, you have the standard stationary medium have a force applied to it as if it were accelerating upward permanently. Yeah? If you do that, the formula will work perfectly. Now that doesn't mean that because in the math, if you think of it as accelerating upward, that the realm is actually accelerating upward. It just works out like that mathematically, and it remains a mystery. It's like an unresolvable puzzle. Is the realm accelerating upward? Well, that absolutely makes no sense. How would it be accelerated? Is there anything to accelerate up into, and what does that mean? Like, it does nothing about it makes sense. You could never prove it. I'm pretty damn sure, like, if you would even imagine a realm to be accelerating upward permanently, forever, and that means ever increasing speed forever since the beginning of time, which is insane, right? Insane. It would mean that the realm would be beyond the imaginary light speed, way beyond it. It is infinite acceleration forever. It is physically impossible. Right? So that's not literally happening. It can't be. It doesn't make any sense. Or unless you say, oh, God made the realm perfectly isolated and there is an infinite nothing. It's like the realm he created, perfect bubble that's impervious, like a Star Trek ship going warp 10 with the super shield so they can handle that, and they accelerate forever within the abyss. Because God has sounds very fantastical, but yeah, I mean, Maybe. But I mean, it sounds so convoluted just for this one effect. Right? And besides, the idea of light speed, like light doesn't even have a speed. So it gets all really complicated once you start to reify this mathematical tricksy. Accelerating upward. It's a little mathematical trick. It's basically another form of gravity, little g. Right? Like, oh, accelerating downward, fall description. Well, if you apply accelerating up to the whole thing as a medium, then it also works. It's like the whole thing has a force subjected to it. Right? Not a pull at a distance, but a force subjected to the whole thing. Forever? Yeah, it's like the more dense is going to be pressed down, the less dense is going to be pressed up. Right? I mean, if you go to like a really good vomit comet situation, yeah, it would have to be much longer. And you have like a cord within the plane thing with a machine that can like pull you forth. I've seen this in some sci-fi movies even, where you hook up on the side and you just have a thing that drags you forth in a weightless situation. Very smart idea. If you have that and you have a density tower, right? You have a liquid thing with oil and water and thingies in there. Well, normally you're in a vomit comet, it destabilizes, it becomes chaos because the axis is effectively neutralized by the parabolic flight, right? Well, guess what's going to happen? If you then have a person holding that thing at the front of the plane, with the machine then going to pull it at a stable, accelerating speed to the other side. Guess what's going to happen in that very short time, by the way? Yeah? The density tower is suddenly going to be as if there is a density applied. Like the axis will reappear, reemerge, because there is an acceleration. You see? It's like force itself causes density axis. Like an acceleration causes the object, when treated as a medium, to have a force, a density axis effect, right? There's a force, something is accelerating, that will cause a shift. All forces will combine and causes a shift in the density axis. Less dense normally in a stationary goes up, more dense goes down. If you neutralize it through a parabolic flight, it just it retracts. There is no more force, there's no more density axis. Now you apply to that within it another force by moving it. Guess what? Boink! Suddenly, oh well, the thing you're accelerating towards is going to make the less dense part of that little object within the whole thing move forward towards the place you're accelerating towards, and the more dense part of that object is going to be at the back. And this keeps happening. So this is the complete works. The complete works of relative density, the full understanding. And it applies absolutely to every scale, medium within a medium within a medium. Work it out. Program it. Do a physical test. Prove me wrong. Prove that I'm wrong. You won't. Trust me on this. Or don't. Better not to trust me on this and literally test it out to see for yourself. Maybe record it. Get back to me. Right? So I especially hope Rachie actually pays attention to this, because I know she's very interested in these mechanics. And this is the full works. It's been years since I've laid down such a specific layout of a very specific concept. such an elaborate layout for such a specific concept. And yeah, so there it is. Cheers. Hello, Flat Earth Sage, Steamy Traveler, Moxie. Now I'd like some feedback. Did you get that, Steamy Traveler? Right, so you have an object, a complex object, like a human being, right? Definitely a medium, an object on its own, because it's stuck to it, one thing, your body. Within it, there's all kinds of liquids and even like gases dissolve and might separate, and you know, complex things happening. So definitely medium within a medium within a medium situation. Just imagine you're gonna go sprinting, like really rush it, full acceleration. Well, there's gonna be effectively a density axis shift applying to your entire body and all that is within it. Yeah? So every little cell, whatever's going on in there, is gonna have a axial shift happening. The less dense parts of the cell are going to be pulled forward slightly, up and forward. The more dense parts are going to be pushed the exact other direction. And that's what happens to everything in your body when you start sprinting in an acceleratory fashion. It will make the density axis shift. Seems like you're saying motion. Now it's acceleration. But it's not an antecedent to the axis necessarily. It's the antecedent to the axis shift or neutralization. If you want to alter the density axis, you will have to accelerate in some way. That's how you then apply the shift of the axis. But in a stationary situation, it is always there. So if you say, oh, it's an antecedent, then you are literally enforcing the claim that the realm has to be accelerating up for all eternity, which is logically absurd and unprovable. Hello, classical homeopath, Kumovirus. Right? But I hope I also laid down how everything connects, like the misunderstandings about it, why people would think Einstein accelerating up. What is there's something to that? Yeah, well, I don't blame them, but you gotta basically lay down every time you say that, like, yeah, we're not actually accelerating upward. It is as if it is mathematically, right? You could say mathematically little g. Right? Little g, you could say that too, and then mathematically it could work out until you start to like figure out what happens with gases and all that, right? That doesn't really work out. Newton's mechanics were wrong. But it's the same effect. You can just put little g in your mechanical system, in your formula, and yeah, it'll work out. Or you could regard the whole thing as a medium, as an object that's accelerating in an infinite nothing medium with no friction, accelerating upward forever, endlessly. You could apply that, and it also works out. It works out even better because then you can still apply the relative density mechanisms within it and have the complete function of gases explained, right? It explains the full works that way. So yeah, Einstein accelerating Earth upward actually works with relative density. The point is it's very Einstein because it's not actually happening. But you can think of it as happening and then it will work out mathematically. So that's what it is. Accelerating upward, that's cool. You could think of it like that and apply that mathematically and it will work out. But to actually suggest to reify that into physical reality is kind of ridiculous. And also a great cause of alarm for people who don't spot that little detail about its proposition. Yeah, that if you're going to reify it, that is ridiculous. Well, if you don't see that, that's alarming to people. If you're just going to say, oh, we are accelerating upward, it fixes everything, that sounds like, you need to think through this a little bit more carefully. You're getting a bit silly. You're getting a bit delusional, right? That's the response to like what Dell and Rachel's been doing from the guys from QE, especially, and Nathan, and just annoyed by that. Like, this is stupid, right? And I get that, but they have a point. But you have to be clear about what that point really is, and it's a mathematical convenient way to describe the situation. You can think of it as that and it'll work out. But to think that it is real is ridiculous and it's not provable, first off, so why would you even claim that it's literal? You can't prove it. How would you prove it? How are you going to prove that? Yeah, you can't. You just can't. It's done. So no point in going there. It's gonna make people object. Just create more friction. It's gonna dilute the actual finding. The understanding, like, hey, accelerating upward, that kind of works out mathematically. Yeah. Don't reify it. It's not literal. If you can avoid doing that, you'll avoid a whole bunch of hassle and unnecessary friction. Unnecessary agitation. Right. So, I got through that quick. A lot of inspiration. But this one was very important. It's one that's been kind of waiting for a long time. Because I had trouble, like, placing it all. Because of the different types of perspectives from people. But this is what it is, and I'm holding it to this, definitely. Too bad that Tony isn't here. Hey, Slow Mo Moon Buggy, good to see you. Okay, hello, Fireball X. What the fuck is that? Yeah. Right. So, I hope somebody appreciated that. I'm gonna eat this green stuff. Mm. Mm. Shout out to Owen Benjamin. He had a really interesting show yesterday, by the way. Dedicated to flat earth. He had like a lot of things right this time. No bullshit nonsense that he added. So that was really good. Was talking all about reversing the burden of proof. So it was really good. Good evening. Fireball Axe, are you like in Australia or something? Oh, Philippines. Alright, cool. Welcome to the Early Bird Show. How did you find me? Oh, okay, originally England. Right. Ah. Alright, alright. Okay. Sorry guys. Yeah, I feel a little weird. It's just muscle. Just kind of, I don't know, man. Like it's a back problem thing. Been nagging me. It's the next thing. I'm not through like the entire cycle just yet. No, it's just like my shoulder. Very annoying. Distracting. Especially because when it's there, like for some reason, yeah, I mean, me talking about this a subject being really focused, well, now it hurts. It's like that typically happens. Like I can't be too focused and intense. You have too much energy going through me because then that starts to hurt. It's very annoying. But I mean, I've had it worse. But it's like a physical discouragement thing going on. It's kind of a bummer, really. I hope it goes away soon because I have a lot of, well, interesting things to share. New insights. The mind-body connection? What? Yeah, it's just about energy. And also, I think that I've just actually been just not moving enough. I should be moving more. Also, I realized that I've really not done any serious kind of sport in a very long time, and that's kind of stupid of me. In that sense, I can't wait until it like gets even warmer, and then I can like just go out in shorts and just kind of run or something without it being uncomfortable. Just take a hike through nature. That would be great. Thoughts can affect body pain. Yeah, sure they can. Well, with me, like, if I get really ecstatic through my thinking, that for some reason typically causes it to hurt, which is a huge bummer, to be fair. But it's not always like this, thank God. I mean, it's just during sick phases and such. Is it my left shoulder? Yeah. I mean, it's always my left shoulder. I rarely have issues with my right one. And I've had it plenty of times that it's like just in my back in the middle, like over my hips or in just in the middle of my back. But now it's just over here. It's annoying, and like it makes me worry sometimes. Like, oh my god, is my heart all right? But I mean, it's not my heart, but it's like close to it, so it makes me worried. It's really distracting. Spleen? No, my spleen is much more down. A draught? What the hell is a draught? No, I don't do yoga, but I do a lot of stretching exercises. Like I basically massage it myself. I mean, I do take care of it. I don't just let it sit there and get all stiff. So I just do my own thing, and that works decently enough. Alright, but my heart is not like giving any aberrations or anything. Cold airflow on your neck. Okay. Well, it's not really that cold in here at all. I do avoid getting cold on my neck. Okay. Yeah, that's all very cute, Steamy Traveler, but I don't think it's my spleen. I know what my frickin' spleen feels like, okay? It's not my spleen. Spleen, yeah, I start to feel my spleen like when I make some real, like, extreme effort that I get very exhausted. That's when I start to feel it sometimes. Still remember that. That's not what this is. It's not that location. You get it? Steamy Traveler? Not my spleen. It's here. This is not where my frickin' spleen is. Okay? Right there, as if there's like a pin going right through me. It's not my heart. And it's not the heart over here. Not here. And it's not my spleen, which is over there. It's a muscle. A muscle. Muscle over at ribs, shoulder. Not a organ. Okay? My organs are actually doing great. They've been better than they have in a long time since I dropped drinking alcohol and tea. I mean, they're really doing great. I don't have any more stomach issues. I don't have any more issues like on my, what do you call gallbladder and all that, right? And my liver, they're all doing great. Especially now with all the green stuff I'm eating. They're all doing great. It's not that. It's just some stupid ass muscle being all weird and post-traumatic on me. You're just trying to... Yeah, but you're literally handing me... Like, oh, it could be that. That's paranoia. I know what it is. It's just a nuisance. If it was a real serious worry, then I definitely like do something about it and I consult somebody about it. I'm just complaining like, it's just annoying. It's not some organ. It just... Doing that just makes me hypochondriac, right? Don't do that, please. It's troubleshoot. Yeah, well, don't. I didn't ask for it. I'm not asking for troubleshooting about my medical situations, okay? Please. Please don't do that. I like when you think with me when I'm like digging in subjects, and I really appreciate, but please don't do that with this. I'm not... Don't be so... Whatever, man. I'm humbly requesting you not to do that, okay? That's not me being a dick. That's me asking you, please don't do that. I find it very disturbing. And you have been wrong all the time, really. Right? And I know how that is because I have that mechanism in my head too, okay? I can do that too, Steamy Traveler. I can ponder about, oh, is it this? Is it that? And then spend like an hour trying to search things up and then realizing it's just not that. Right? It feeds paranoia, hypochondria. That thinking. It's not helpful. Right? I've got all these different little weird symptoms that I've had one step at a time. I already addressed it. Look, oh, I got things like, what is it? Where did it start? Man, I lose track, but I've had issues with my lungs. That went away. I had issues with my hips, pretty bad. I could have gone wrong, but it didn't. That went away, right? My jaw, most of that has gone away. And now it's my shoulder, right? There is not suddenly, oh, there's this danger. No, there isn't. Not danger. Yeah? I don't have to, look something up quickly and have to go to a doctor. No. No, I don't. But I'm sorry, sometimes I have to complain a bit because I'm literally feeling something that's in the way. That doesn't mean I immediately need medical consult. Okay? It's just me being a whiny, complainy old man about my physical issues. That's all. I'm sorry. Sorry it's not super entertaining, but I don't need medical advice. If I need medical advice, I'll ask. Ugh. Yeah, that's messed up, Slow Mo Moonbuggy. And what old age? No, I don't know. Steam Travelers, he didn't have any bad intentions, okay? Don't be mean to him. It's just that it's not very helpful. He didn't mean to be like that. Oh, what the fuck? The enemy can... No thanks. I'll pass on that advice, Adam. You medical shill. Trying to get to me, are you? No. I think it's also just like this muscle, this one muscle is like been really agitated for a long time. This front one over here. I mean, that one is really giving me pain. It's just that one muscle, this one. Alrighty then, Adam. What? Answer to what? Zane Solo. Hello, Seeking Starwater. Have you permission to say what it might be? No, you don't. I'm telling you what it is. It's this one freaking muscle. It's been sore. It's annoying. And I've had that issue with other muscles, like back muscles and shit, where they would be like swollen and painful, not working very well for like a whole while, like weeks sometimes. It'd be kind of creepy. And now it just happens to be this one. I mean, I recognize it. It's the same kind of pain. Yeah, the answer is no. It's probably something stupid and overblown, and it's not related, okay? Guys, if you're gonna go this direction, like, I'm gonna literally stop talking about everything medical, okay? If you're gonna go that, I'll just hide everything then from you. Yeah, if you're gonna start fantasizing about how terribly wrong it could go, then I'll stop bringing everything up. I'll just not do a show, do shorter shows, switch the subjects to flat earth only, cosmogony only then. How about that? How about no more medical log? Is that okay with you guys? No more medical log? Is that what you want? Maybe it's just a sore muscle, like I've had so many times. Yeah? My heart is doing fine. My breathing is doing fine, not painful. It's just like, right? Just like, oh, a muscle in my back gets in the way. Yeah, that's exactly what it fucking is, except it's this muscle. Yeah, I know what it is. I don't need any more advice on what it might be. Okay? Thank you. Did I turn it off and on again? Hilarious. But my knowledge about medical stuff is, yeah, good. Then don't start telling me about some ridiculous things that it might be because a whole bunch of poisoned people tend to develop that. Right, what I effectively think is it's the time of the year. Bacterial bloom. I got bacteria all over my body, okay? I didn't purge it all. I keep my bacteria around. Literally. Like, I don't use soap on my dishes. I do get it clean though. Right? And I do use soap on my feet when I wash them. And shampoo on my hair when I wash it, which is not very often. But I like my bacteria, I respect them. But when you do that, always, during spring, this happens. Always, forever, when you're very, very fucking old. That's the consequence. And then, oh, the bacteria starts to wake up. They go around. They go clean the place up. They address weak spots. You're gonna have issues with those weak spots. And then it's gonna be solved. And then it's gonna be fresh. You're gonna be renewed after that. That's how it goes. Every fucking year. Sometimes it's really bad. And sometimes it's not that bad. Now, it's not that bad. Yeah, remember last year? That's bad. Now, it's not bad. Not bad. Yeah? Heart works fine. Breathing works fine. That's where the issue is. The organs below that, not the right place. They have no issues. I know what I'm talking about. I can feel. I can feel things in my body very carefully, like how it feels, what type of thing it is, right? The different types of pains for the different types of things, like muscle pain or like a swollen lymph node type of pain, which could be painful if it's like pressured enough. Like, I know the difference. I can feel it. I can feel like the tissue that's directly on your bone, and it gets like the way that feels. I know it. I know exactly what it is. I have a very careful analytical mechanism through my spirit and mind on what's going on in my body. Yeah, I do not have to guess. There's no mystery there. I figure it out very quickly. Usually I don't even look things up. Like, I'm not like, oh, I'm in a sick phase. Well, guess what? I'm going to be doing 20 to 40 Google searches on medical things. No, I don't. Yeah, the only medical thing searches that I have done, yeah, this month are the things that you guys have put in my chat. That's the things I've medically searched. You know why? Because I don't need to search things like that for my own situation. Because I know most of what is there. Me like a Jedi? Arguably, I use magnetization. I can just acutely take pain out, redirect it. Yeah. You could call that a Jedi if you like. Point is that I know what I'm doing. I'm not crumbling. And sometimes, I guess through isolation, I might think rather that I'm crumbling, and if I allow that thought to hang around like paranoia, it will start to actually influence how I feel and then basically create that. And that's why I have to effectively avoid that to prevent that from happening. So if people are going to be like, oh, have you looked into this? It could be this. Yeah, that literally might create it. It's not a joke. Yeah? It's the same effect as, oh, you're going to the doctor. Oh, doctor, what is this? And the doctor's like, oh, I think it might be cancer. I think you have only this much to live. Yeah, and then people will fucking die. Because they believed it. Okay? I'm vulnerable to that effect. And the real thing that's prevented me from literally dying in some way is my knowledge of that effect. That I know that happens. Manifestation, that's right. I tend to do that. I manifest shit. If I start to believe I have an issue, I get the fucking issue. Yeah, I've had that happen to me. And then as soon as I dropped the idea, I'd let it go. It basically lose the victim mentality that automatically circles around that effect when you focus on that. And I dropped it and boosh, it would go away. Just like that. When I was being like, oh, I'm gonna like have this, I'm gonna have that for a month, every day feeling it. And then I'd let it go in my mind and it would just disappear like nothing. Okay? It's real. Manifestation is real. I'm vulnerable to it. I do not appreciate people telling me what kind of weird, freaky things I might be having. And I know that Steamy Traveler meant well, so this rant is definitely not exclusively against you, my friend, whose t-shirt I'm wearing, and I really appreciate your presence in my shows, and I absolutely forgive you for calling me a dick, in that sense. But I have an issue with medical things like this. Manifestation is a problem for me. So I just would like you to not do that, please. For my sake. I would really appreciate that. If there's something I I need to know, or like, oh, what do you guys think about medical thing, right? I'll ask. And then I love your brilliant, quick know-how. But if I'm not asking that, I please don't tell me those things. Okay? Right. We are all Harry Potters. Okay, George Sanford. Right. Mr. Miyagi style. Okie dokie. Think and you become. Yes. It's the self-cursing system. Psychosomatics. Right? If you have on the television, oh, there's this disease spreading. Oh, look, all these people got really sick. Yeah, and you know what happens when that happens in media and like all the news and on the radio, and suddenly your colleagues are starting to talk about it, right? Even if you avoid. Guess what's going to happen? Literally, a percentage of the people are going to get it. Because they're being exposed by it. They think it's going to go around, and then they're like, oh, I'm getting it. Guess what? They're actually going to get it. Because it's everywhere. Everybody's talking about it. Everybody's describing the symptoms. You're going to be thinking about the symptoms. And guess what's going to happen? You're going to get the symptoms. Huh? Because you fear it. Because you're thinking about it all the time. This is reality. There's a thing going around verbally. There's no actual physical thing, but verbally, everybody thinks there is a thing. And it's like, oh, this crazy thing, a little monster or a ghost, like it's a ghost. There's a ghost going around. People just dropping dead. They're seeing a ghost and they're dropping dead. Yeah? And then you see people being carried away by the ambulance, and they're like, it's like he saw a ghost and then like fell over. And then guess what? Oh, the ghost is killing people on the news, right? Guess what's gonna fucking happen? People are going to believe it eventually, and then have all that's associated with it that is described over and over again happen with them. That's real. Do you understand? And the weird thing is that a lot of those people the ones that get it quickly, are like annoying victim hypochondriac types. And people will in general even be like, yeah, whatever, man. Oh, yeah, you got it. Oh, yeah. They'll be like, because that person's always whining, right? About something. And then you're like, yeah, dude, whatever, man. But you underestimate that those people often are like psychologically vulnerable enough to really have, through their projection onto themselves with their idea, have that actually happen eventually. Like, don't underestimate it. Like, it's because they need it to be real in order to reaffirm their victim position that they hold on to a lot of the times, right? When you're like, oh, I'm a victim, I got this issue. Well, guess what? You're going to reinforce that issue. You're going to use that issue. You want that issue. You need it for that leverage in the moment socially. Well, that's going to actually then create that as well. Why? Because you want it. You want it. Socially, you want it. I mean, logically, you might not want it. You might not like it. But you want it because you need it socially. And then you're going to create that. And it may not be acted, right? I mean, you can have things like you're acting being sick, right? You're acting it because you're a scoundrel bastard. a scoundrel bastard that wants to manipulate people and scam or whatever. Well, guess what? If you keep that up long enough, you know what might happen? Huh? Can you guess what might happen eventually if you keep up that act long enough? Can you guess what's gonna happen? I'm not gonna say. I want you guys to say it in chat. My sister is a real disease. Yeah, blah blah blah. Nobody says that real diseases don't exist. I'm just saying that it will happen. That's right. It's not good for sure. Yeah, well but also typically, like, if you act certain symptoms, you may actually get it. I think that's even happened with actors that were acting as like a sick person in a movie, and that they would like then go to a doctor who would actually think they got it. Like, really weird. Conditions exist. Yeah. Right. Nobody's denying disease. It's just, what is the disease, right? It's dis-ease. Like, not easy. It's not easy, right? Disease. Dis-ease. That's what it is. It's not like, oh, you're being attacked. You're being attacked by a thing. Like a thing from the earth. Like a life from the dirt is attacking you and you're getting sick at dis-ease. No, that's not what it is at all. That's the difference. Right. Right? I mean, it's by these simple things. I thought for a while, like, oh my god, my lungs. Like, I got the cancer or something, right? And I know, like, even if I had that, I'd be like, yeah, well, I'm just not gonna do anything then. Like, oh, I'm gonna die? Okay, well then I'm gonna die, because I'm not gonna do anything. I'd rather die than give this fucked up medical system any money. I'd literally rather die, right? Unless I get into some horrible accident physically and then have to be stitched back together. Then I'd love to go to a hospital and have somebody help me with that. But other than that, no. Right? And not that I plan to get into an accident. I've never been in an accident, ever. I got an intuition to avoid that. So there's a good chance I'm never going to enter a hospital ever again. Unless I'm like tricked by fear and paranoia. Like last year. And it cost me money and was completely useless. Right. You're an idiot, Akumu Virus. That's absolutely pathetic. What, you'd rather be sick than go to school? That's pathetic, dude. Yeah, it doesn't work that way. Besides, if you want to give yourself pink eye, it's really not that hard, dude. It's just, is it really worth it? Because you're fucking lazy and you don't want to do it? Jesus. Does Netherlands have free healthcare system? No. Right. Anyhow. To continue my story, I had that issue like, oh, it might be my lungs or something. But then it's very simple. If it's your lungs, you should know, right? I mean, breathe in deep and then press. Press back while keeping your... I mean, if it's your lungs, that's gonna fucking hurt. Well, guess what? It doesn't fucking hurt. It's just like... it's like that fucking feeling like a rib is off. Like a rib was like... right? That's the type of pain I experience. Not like... like, ooh! Like, ooh, shit, my lungs. Like, no, that's not what I felt at all, right? And my heart's the same. It's like, yeah, my heart always is like weird and jumpy at times. I've had that since I was like 6. I even was kind of freaked out about it. Like, as a teen, I went to a doctor one time, and it's like, that's like a weird, I guess, aberration. But it's literally non-damaging. It's just kind of distracting. And it's never really been an issue other than, it makes me like weird jolty feeling sometimes and a bit nervous. Snaps me out or something. If I'm like high tension, it might play up, and yeah, it does distract me, but it's not actually a danger, right? So my heart, my lungs are just fine. It's just stupid muscle shit. Muscles wrestling with bacteria that are blooming in this period, which is good. They are in your body. They have always been in your body. This is the time where they do their work. It's like spring cleanup, right? Things slowly kind of like move on, die off during winter. Yeah, things in your body, cell parts, thingies, details, die off. During springtime, woo, reawaken. Everything starts working again. Bacteria like, oh, okay, guess what? They're going to do their job. They're going to come out of their holes in your body. Like literally in your body, those bacteria. Some of those bacteria might literally be like blood plates that are just part of your system all the time. And suddenly like, boink, okay, need to clean up. And then it's like, I feel this. Oh shit, I feel that. And now that. And then every day it's like, and then eventually it's like, bloom, fresh. You're completely renewed. You have better concentration. You have more energy. You have more will. You have more everything. That is what happens. Happens every year. Don't be afraid. Trust God. This is life. This is His design. All things that happen biologically happen for a reason. The design of it is a complete design. It's a complete, dynamic, multi-layer, fractal connected ecosystem. All of it. Right? Your body is like an entire ecosystem by itself. And parts of your body are their own miniature ecosystem even. And you as a person are like part of the ecosystem of everything around you. It's ecosystem and ecosystem and ecosystem, and it all follows the same patterns. And it's good. It's meant to be like that. Right? Don't let atheist medical science fiction stories delude you into, we have to protect ourselves against this dangerous nature. Ooh, it's all treacherous. Oh, like Darwinian nonsense, right? This is part of the Darwin nonsense. It's this idea that all life can only survive if it's like hostile and shit. Right? The most brutal. Survival of the toughest. The most adaptive. Like, no, it's all one system. What the hell? Okay, there's a bee. Hello, bee. Oh, you're looking good. It's a pretty big bee. I'll help him out. Don't worry. It's all good. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Wouldn't hurt a fly. No. Unless it's like one of those annoying ones that always want to get on you. I definitely heard those. But I mean, that was a bee. And bees are awesome. Like, bees are a blessing. That's how I see them. There's a whole bunch of insects. I just regard them as like they're symbols of good. They're good insects. They're good for us, and they have a good spirit when it comes to nature stand. And then there is like annoying and bad insects and gross insects. Right? And flies are kind of like in the middle. I mean, not all flies, the flies are not just bad, but I mean, there's certain types of flies that are just like super aggravating and invasive, and they will always want to take a bite of you. Ugh, terrible creatures. And mosquitoes suck. But it don't mean that they have to be exterminated. It's just that I hate them. I will kill them if they get near me. But I mean, they're an important food source out there. They serve a role in multiple ways. Ticks, yeah, ticks are just terrible. Terrible parasites. Microwaves into Jordan. What are you talking about? Bees wouldn't attack you. Yeah. And that's the funny thing. Like, if you're really like zen minded, if you're really tranquil, then bees are like great. But if you're like really agitated and you're like, and you're just whiny and complainy and bitchy and like really nasty spirit, then bees can be like kind of fucked up. Like, they can get really like give this weird hostile feeling. There is a weird spirit about bees. Very interesting. What about wasps? Yeah, wow, I fucking hate wasps. I mean, there's like little types of wasps that lay eggs on insects. Those are kind of cool. But yeah, the typical, like the yellow black stripe type of wasp, I fucking hate those creatures. Genuinely hate them. But I don't even kill them though. It's like, just get the fuck out. Because there's this weird thing about them. It's like insects remember when you kill their kind. Did you know that? They just know. So do crows. Yeah, crows know, right? But most animals know. But insects do too. It's like they know you're a friend or a foe. It's very interesting. And you can literally like betray the spirit of an animal type or an insect type. You can like do that. If just like you're friendly with a person and then you suddenly turn hostile on them really badly. That's like a sort of weird betrayal effect, right? Well, you can do that with insects too. Don't do it, by the way. Never do it with anything, by the way. But if you like suddenly choose like, yeah, fuck this type of insect, even though you were like, oh yeah, they're fine, and suddenly like, I hate them now and I'm gonna kill them all. That's like, they will all feel that. And they will know in the future, like, you're an enemy. It's weird. And ants know too. Like, there's like, yeah, like that's why if you're like outdoors and all that, and you're or a farmer and you come across ant hills, it's like literally like, oh shit, what are we gonna do? Gonna bypass this, or are we gonna start a war on the ants? Because it is genuinely a war. Like the ants will literally just start a war. They will know. Have I ever looked into Schussler cell salts? Yes. Well, not personally, but I know about him. I know about it because like even my ex got into that for a bit. Like she had that. I wouldn't say that classical homeopath. No, that's not like homeopathy, but I mean, it's no. I mean, homeopathy may have grown towards that, but it's definitely its own thing. And has nothing to do with like the core effects of homeopathy. What's the show title? But no, Cleary, what are you talking about? This just came up, right? I talked the first part of the show about relative density. That was like the first 45 minutes or something, and then we moved on. I had some issues, like a muscle was annoying. It's mostly gone, by the way, now. So it was just like, nagging, annoying, poking. And then I got into a bit of a spat with Steamy Traveler over that. And try to explain, like, how you have to be careful with, like, even digging through medical stuff when it's, like, about yourself. Because you could literally, like, contract issues with that because you believe in it. So I talked about that for a bit, and then we migrated on to insects because a bee came flying in and I put it out. Just captured it with a piece of paper and a glass, and then the conversation moved on to that. This is how my show goes. Okay, Cleary, that's hilarious. What? Oh, Right, you've been taking them for skin condition. Okay, sensible enough. Right. Yeah. Okay, well, I don't really have rashes issue, but for me, the core of any skin-related issues is always tied in with frickin' sugar. If I eat some form of sugar, that's what I get. I started to notice it through, like, eczema type things starting to appear. And I used to have that, like, pretty vividly, but it's like all gone. It just disappears. Right? Getting off sugar, it just disappears. Doesn't come back. No more itchy, dry skin or anything. Right. Yeah, sugar in your diet, skin condition. Right. And also coffee, sugar and caffeine. Both, right? This is why with Michael Kahn, he has really bad skin issues, and I advised him, like, dude, get off the coffee, because that really makes it much worse. It inflames, it makes it painful. But I mean, the guy is really addicted to coffee. Like, he's kind of embarrassed about it, because I really said, like, you should, like, really just start cutting down and, like, really cut it out of your diet. But he's just like, he doesn't want to talk about it because he has trouble, a lot of trouble getting off that coffee. Me, not so much. I mean, I've been off it, and tea even, for quite a while, and dude, my skin is brilliant. Like, you can literally watch back some of my older shows where I had horrific, painful skin lesions and shit. It was kind of embarrassing, but it was like, fuck it, I'm doing this show. Like, I don't care if it looks ridiculous. I'm doing the show, damn it. Right? Well, I don't have that anymore. Like, that hasn't happened at all. My skin has been nearly pristine for several years now. Before that, I had regular weird skin issues. Like, that would come back like every few years or something. I had that for decades. Very annoying, very embarrassing. They're gone. They're like really gone. Yeah, and it was really sugar, caffeine. Both those two things that were at the driving factor for it. The overall burden on my entire system that would lead to that condition. Because it's all gone. I don't have that condition now. Right? What the fuck are you talking about, Cleary? That sounds ridiculous. Where the hell are you getting that from? Green tea, yeah, no, all of it. But Flatter Sage, look, it's not like, ooh, the green tea immediate, like an allergic response skin condition. No, that's not it. It was the combination of it all, right? It's compounding. Sugar is a toxic influence. Caffeine, including in tea, has a certain level of toxic influence. And all of that combined. And hey, technically smoking tobacco has a certain degree of toxic influence. It's just a fact, right? I still do that. But without the sugar, or most of it out, because unfortunately there's still some of that salty stuff that I like Crisol. But all the caffeine out, well, the balance I have in all of that now has led to me not having those skin issues anymore. And like, even though they would always return, right? I'd have those issues during spring. You can literally trace it back on the times that I had that. What date? Guess what? Springtime, a lot of it. Springtime and also autumn too, for some reason. Right? But not in the middle of the summer and not in the middle of the winter. Stress, yeah, very important factors at happy. Right, it's compounding. So yeah, I am naturally a high stressor. I have a high stress capability. And that's not gonna go away, but how much stress I allow myself to experience, that is something that I could handle, and I have a lot of it, right? Basically did an item just now where, yeah, Steamy Trevor left. I really hope he does watch back, because this is all good stuff for him too, to know that I did take care of a potential stress factor by itself. Like, oh, it could be this, could be that. Well, that's stress inducing and might literally cause it psychosomatically. Right? So that is part of taking care of the stress factor, to keep that under control so it doesn't grow out of hand and thus create health problems just by the level of stress that goes through you, right? Because all of it together, like the more you have issues, the more your body becomes toxic, and then the symptoms start blooming up, right? It's not one thing, it's the combination of all of the things together. So you got to work on all of it. And some things you'll be really good with, and some things will be really difficult to work to stop it, right? So you're gonna have to figure out like what requires the most attention. What can I work on the most? What I need to. It's probably gonna end up working the most on the things that are the hardest. Unless you're like, no, I'll settle for that and literally basically surrender to it, which will cost potentially a part of your lifetime. Will you just surrender, or are you going to work on it? Anyway. Job situation has been great. Oh, that's not nice. Flatter Sage. Right. Most of these diseases, the body's way to detoxing it, and yeah, but that is it usually, right? Disease is cleaning up the mess. That's what it is. And even like, oh, skin issues, well, it's trying to clean up the mess. Yeah, fasting is is a very good technique to clean up, sure. Alright, I hope you guys are all enjoying the show. usually the first sign that something's wrong. You think, Septepi? I'm not sure about that. But I mean, sometimes with some people, look, some people they don't ever get skin issues, right? So it all depends on the person. Some people typically get skin issues. Other people like never really have skin issues. Your skin affects reflector partially. You can see somebody's health usually by their skin. In that sense, I agree, but that doesn't mean that they have skin issues then. Like eczema or something. But in overall, you can just see by looking at a person, like how their skin looks, like what their health is generally like. Yeah, you can tell. But just because they're not very healthy looking doesn't mean that they have skin issues. It's not the same thing. Some people just have skin condition. Well, it's not just that. That's the whole point, Septappy. It's not just some people have skin conditions. No, they just are more prone. That's like their weakness. But it can potentially be resolved. It's not like, oh, they just always have that. No, that usually means that they're not getting rid of it. Like, I had eczema. My dad, too. We pretty much got rid of it by actively working on it. That took a whole bunch of time. My dad had it for like half his life. And then was like, yeah, doctor shit and all that doesn't work. I have to find some other way. And he did. Got into alternative health, whole bunch of things in that, and now he just doesn't have it anymore, and he's old. Okay, he's older. So it's not just some people have that. Now those are the people that aren't doing anything about it. They just want to have their easy chow and the things they want, right? And then they don't solve it. Ginger people have excessive. Yeah, but that's literally just a heretical condition, Septappy. That's not the same thing. Like, that's genetic. Right? But hey, if you're ginger, yeah, you can be more prone to skin conditions. So where with other non-ginger people could have developed skin conditions because they had certain things they ate that didn't agree with them, well, those ginger people will have that worse. So they have to take a little bit extra care because, well, their skin is just a little bit more sensitive because of their genetic situation, right? But the way it will develop and how you get it away is effectively the same. What? Are you talking? Cleary. Genetically designed to live in a bog in Northern Ireland. What the fuck are you talking about? That's hilarious, but... Yeah, I wouldn't make so much fun of gingers. I mean, I'm quite certain Jesus was a ginger. And arguably the other prophet from Arabia as well. Though I'm not gonna make any claims about it. So yeah, I like gingers. I think they're highly underestimated, and they're like a little different in ways, but they are. A lot of them are really interesting. Jesus a ginger? Yeah, you bet it is. I know the black Israelites don't agree with it. I don't give a fuck. They're just wrong. What the heck is a ginger people? I'm Asian. Ginger are red-haired freckle faces. Yeah, there's a special South Park episode about ginger people. A ginger, yeah, Cleopatra was a ginger. That's right. The old nobles were, a lot of them were ginger. The old bloodlines. Gingers have no soul. Yeah, that's what they say, but it's bullshit. They do have a soul. It's just not a very compatible soul with the normie idiots. And it's weird though, because for some reason there is like a percentage or something of gingers that have like weird psychopathic traits, but in a sense that they don't understand certain feelings. Like, right, they're not necessarily evil, like deranged, but they are like, they just don't get certain things feeling wise. That is a thing with gingers. I've personally experienced that. But I mean, some ginger women are like, oh, amazing. Like, they're amazingly smart and sensitive. Freaking impressive, man. Like, previous roommate was kind of like that. Man, I really dug her. Too bad she was like with someone. Judas was a ginger. Dude, whatever, man. A lot of people were ginger back then. Is Trisha Sham? No, it wasn't. Well, not all of it. The Nephilim were ginger. Pfft. Dude, whatever, man. I freaking love them. I like gingers. My mother was partly ginger, arguably. But, like, I might be, like, a little bit. Like, but not enough. I have, like, really dormant remnant ginger genetic material in me. Like, my mother was like a quarter or something. She had freckles. Like that. But not red hair. You're actually ginger. Okay, cool. That explains a few things, Debbie. Thanks for telling me. Why does that explain things? I'm not telling you. You either get it or you don't. Well, other people will either get it or they don't, because you're not gonna get it because you are the ginger. Sorry. Like, for example, This is gonna sound really weird. The icon you're using, right? That's Calimero. I don't know what is his name in other countries, but Calimero is the name in Dutch. Yeah, for some reason gingers really like that. I don't know why. That's what I noticed as a kid. I don't. But all the ginger kids would all like Calimero for some reason. I don't know, man. Maybe that's just my weird little time, a few years in that era in the early 90s or something, or late 80s. But for some reason, I just noticed that. Are Frisians ginger? No, Frisians are Nordic. They are something else. Frisians are white-haired, blonde. Not ginger. Ginger identity disorder. Maybe. I think that potentially gingers, some of them may on average have some identity issues because of their gingerness. Like in the face of everything else, it's like you are a little different because of that. That's, and effectively socially, I mean, I like gingers. Like I like them, not like, oh, I find them like, oh, I love all ginger. No, but I tend to just like them. I like the way they feel, like the way they compose themselves a lot of the time. A lot of them are like have strong loyalty senses for some reason. Has anybody ever noticed that? I don't know what it is. I just like gingers. And there's some really attractive ginger girls out there, but not all of them. Some of them are just ugh. I mean, ginger people can become really deranged too. I mean, they're not like, oh, they're the chosen people, they cannot corrupt. Oh no, ginger people can freaking corrupt, okay? But when they don't, they're awesome. You don't know what I'm talking about? Yeah, sure you don't. Right. I'm not saying that all gingers always have this. It's just a weird statistical thing. You're not an orange ginger? Between blonde and... Oh, so you're a half ginger. So you're not even a full ginger then. Sheesh. You don't deserve that Calimero picture. Nah, it's fine. Yeah. Yeah, we heard some say ginger. Yeah. Some people say that elites are really lizard people. And some people say the earth is a spinning ball. Okay? Look, people don't even know what freaking souls are in order to tell what gingers have or not. Like, people don't even know what a freaking soul is, man. They don't know what they're talking about most of the time. They have a vague reference to some mythological thing. Right? Selling your soul. Like, that is what most people anchor their very understanding of what a soul is in. And that is complete mythology. Like, soul is actually a thing and has nothing to do with that. Yeah, gingers definitely have a soul. Or at least, unless they're like more robotic and they don't have many impulses, which is like arguably like a weird trait. And then you could say, oh, well, they have no soul because they're just like robots that'll do whatever you say. Well, yeah, potentially, some of them. That's like the loyalty factor, right? So, yeah, you could say, yeah, maybe they don't have any soul. Well, some of them might not. But it's it's just they don't have, I guess, then strong identity. Is that, yeah, in a way it makes sense. I mean, I even declared some time ago in my show here, I talked about it, like there's the soul and the spirit, and they're actually in opposition to one another in yourself. Well, the soul is your ego, the things you want, versus the spirit, which is the understanding of things. And those are in opposition to one. Well, from that paradigm, arguably you could say, yeah, gingers don't have a soul, or very little of it. Because some of them just don't have that, I want this, they're like, oh, do whatever you say. You could call that not having a soul. And then, yeah, from a mechanistic perspective, there's something to that. But then, of course, the mythology goes in and like, oh, they don't have a soul. Did they sell it to Satan? Yeah, and then the whole freaking nonsense comes in and they're suddenly scary or something. Bullshit. They're not scary. Just don't look at me straight into the eyes. Then they might get scary. Just kidding. That is just getting silly now. Right, never met a ginger robot. Okay. Well, I have. Maybe it's just when they're kids, they're like that, and then when they grow up, they do actually like get more soul, more personal identity. What? B is back again. Okay. Yeah, no, yeah. Silly B. Now, I know why he's getting in here. That's because they're looking for nesting holes. And then they get in and it's like, oh, I'm stuck behind the window. But they're going around basically looking for nesting spots. And hey, there is a bee's nest specifically for that right there. So yeah. Leave the bee alone? I set him free. I love bees. Wow. Well, the show has been going for a while. It's been fun though. Oh, Richard? What did he ask? I was curious what your opinions of past life. I don't it's not my thing. I mean, I don't know. Do we have past lives? Is it really relevant? Is there some karma that you take over before you even get here? What is that? Is that because of something in a previous life, or is that just like this is the challenge that you discuss with God of getting? And then you may personify that into, oh, it's something from a past life, or it's just your challenge within this one. So I don't know. I don't know if you can have multiple lives like that. I don't know if you literally, if everybody reincarnates, right? I mean, from a certain teaching perspective, it's logical that the wicked might reincarnate because they're completely off the dirt, so they are stuck on earth, right? From that perspective. But I don't have like a default position or like a certainty, like no, everybody definitely reincarnates. No, I don't know, man. I don't know. But we might incarnate, or well, not, that wouldn't need the right word because it's not in, we might have another form of being after, right? But I don't know exactly, like, oh, what was my previous life? Like, whatever it was, it's not relevant. Like, it's not relevant to who I am now. Failed attempts at nirvana, right? So look, from that perspective, if like reincarnation is because of your failure, then it is logical that your past lives would be full of terrible things, because those would be the things to reincarnate from, right? Your past life's never going to be full of bliss and joy and everything went perfect. That would be illogical. Yeah? I mean, so even from that perspective, people that dig into past lives, it's never some really boring, fulfilling, super easy life or anything in their past. Now is it? Okay, Cleary, I highly doubt it. I mean, that's logically impossible. You can't scientifically prove that. You can't vary and manipulate that. Right? Hey, and even if you could get a little kid to basically start reciting things about other people's lives that they've never interfaced with, that doesn't mean that they were that person. It just means they have direct access to the Akashic record of that person in that state when they're young. That's what that means. It doesn't mean they are them, it just means they are able to tap in their information. And it's really bizarre and mysterious. Right? The spirit is really bizarre and mysterious. What it can do. Japanese and most recent? Okay. I've never really had a reading about that stuck to me. I vaguely remember that I might have been like a really creepy witch doctor in the past life. A woman witch doctor was really like evil. That is really weird to hear that. Your soul lived through. That's like, oh wow, that's so important, man. Numerical value to the age of your soul. I mean, oh, that's so important. Or it's just nonsense. Like, what's the point? If you reincarnate as an artwork, no. I mean, in order for that to happen, your soul would have to be so punished by God to literally be stripped of its human factors in order to reincarnate an animal, because animals don't have soul like that, right? It doesn't mean like, oh, they don't have a continuum for themselves even past death. They have, but they don't have soul, as in that part of the spirit that is really oppositional to the mind and like really forms an identity. Like animals don't really have so much a sense of identity, individual identity. They have like species identity a bit, like group being, right? But they don't have individual identity sense. So in that sense, animals don't have a soul. They have all kinds of factors. They don't have all kinds of factors that we humans do. So to reincarnate an animal would literally be stripped of your human faculties. I don't think that species like reincarnate into other species. I think you only reincarnate in your own species until your species is extinct. That's how I think it works. If there is any reincarnation actually real. But I mean, there is argumentation to say reincarnation beyond just like Hindu disciplines or something, right? There is like family reincarnation, which is arguably real. That the same sets of souls keep reincarnating into offspring. That's very, very palpable. Because also, well, parents just recognize, like, you're growing up, you're looking just like my dad, or you're starting to remind me of my dad, right? That's like happens. And sometimes it's even weirder, because sometimes it's like you have the grandpa and you have the grandson. They're sort of the same, but they crystallize different aspects of them. Then grandpa dies and suddenly the kid attains the properties, the other side properties of their granddad. It's like, he's gone now, I'm taking that part in me too. And they become like them. Right? That's very arguably real. In ways I have experienced that. I have experienced something like that, like with my grandmother, in a way. It was very important to me. Because she has like a silent like person that's really in the background that really did understand big things and then wasn't very ambitious with them, but was very careful about the powers in the world and how freaking dangerous they really are without making a poo-ha about it. That was my grandmother. And as she basically went towards death, starting to really get old, get issues, and like hospitalized eventually. We know it was not, she was degrading visibly. I like started to like take over those properties. Like it's like now my turn to become that. Right? So yeah, family, reincarnation, the same souls going, the same characteristics, same expression, same way they are. That's real. But does that mean that they are the same singular consciousness? Hopping bodies? I can't say that, yeah, I don't think that's literally that. I think like literal reincarnation like that really only happens more like a punishment from God. To be forced to start all over again. Go through all of that shit again, ignorant. I mean, that would literally just negate all your life work to try to develop your spirit. Right? It would negate most of that. Or just like the background tension that you can't deal with again all your youth. And then maybe later. So it's like another layer of tension you'll just have from a previous life, from the wisdom you gained, yet not able to integrate again. So it's like reincarnation is like a punishment. Family genetics, indeed. What? What are you laughing about? What are you laughing about, Akuma virus? What was a two-toed sloth? What the? What the fuck, Akuma? I don't think sloths ever fall like that. They do? Really? That's sad. Is everything just what? Yeah, but it isn't. What if we're all one? Yeah, we're not. Yeah? Let's not go towards hippy-dippy unification bullshit theorizing. Thank you very much. We're not all one. We're all separate. We're all individuals. Yes, we are. Say it. No, our brains are nothing. Our brains are just a bunch of protein sponges for our spirit to like do stuff with. It's nothing but a hump of flesh. Our brains are not our spirit. They are not the individual. Our spirit is. Our consciousness is the individual. It doesn't exist within the flesh. Sloth crossing the road? Yeah, that must be annoying. Every rune is unique? No. Or, well, who am I to say they aren't? But, my point is that the concept of concepts don't exist because of the flesh. They exist within the spirit. within the consciousness only. There's no place in your brain even, I think, that you could like remove that. It's like either the web works and you can form it in your mind, you can focus on it, or you can't. There's no spot that is like the literal thing that allows you to do that. It's not the brain. It's the spirit using the brain. What? We are split fractions of the grid. Yeah, that's something, well, not... Yeah, sort of. I mean, I can go with that. I mean, what is consciousness? I mean, how the hell can consciousness even be? Right? Well, God. God is the ultimate consciousness. He's the designer. He designed it all. You have to be consciousness of all to design all. And then, like, what are we then? Well, we're not fully conscious like that. So, yeah, you could argue we're fragments of God. Like, descended into the realm to experience the realm. Because God cannot, like, experience it from a first-person perspective like that. Because he is not physically incarnatable. He is outside. No man will become God. No man is God. No man ever can be God. But our spirits can be very close to God. It's like through our spirit we can connect to what is outside of physical incarnation. God and spirits that don't care about existence and life. That just want to ruin things. Right? Not God. Without the soul, the body is that not necessarily. It's just, you just become an automaton. Without the soul, you become an automaton. You become like a robot. You don't die. You die without the spirit. Spirit is life energy. You're spirited, you're full of energy. Everybody around you is going to be full of energy, right? If you do that the other way around, that's what you die from. You die from lack of spirit, not soul. Soul, simply like how manifested are you as an individual? How much identity have you? How much will you develop? How much ambition do you have, right? That's soul. Without soul, you don't die. You just turn into a robot. Without spirit, you die. So you got it wrong. No, you got it wrong. Spirit is all over the body. You misunderstand what spirit is. Rudolf Steiner mechanics. Not colloquial or biblical based in that sense. Although it is compatible. It's just that esoterics of it. Spirit is the thing. That's the life force. That's the thing that gives clarity, insight, feeds the consciousness, that makes the things in your body work. The spirit is actually the thing that drives life. The soul is not the thing that drives life. The soul is the challenge of the consciousness. It's what gives you an individuality, an identity. Ambition, things you want, and therefore also the challenge, right? You're going to be, people with a lot of soul get addicted easily. People with very little soul don't get addicted, and they're like robots. They'll do things, but it won't mean anything to them. Right? You got soul, man. Well, that means you got will, you got an identity. You have a you. You are a thing. We see you as a real unique thing. Soul. Yeah? Without it, yeah, you're just bland. But you're not dead. Spirit. That's the thing. That's the thing that if you don't have it, it kills you. If you don't have spirit, your body will stop functioning and you will die. That's the difference. And I know it's a bit confusing because I always thought that's the soul. Spirit is just a thing in our mind. No. It's not. See, we got it mixed up. Colloquially, it's been mixed up. Not surprising in a frickin' atheist world where everything is turned inside out, religions turned inside out, reality, understandings turned inside out. It's not surprising that they mix this up colloquially, if you know what I mean. Right? Why is there no blood in it? What? Because blood transforms. Yeah? The blood transforms. Like, it will partially dry up and turn into bacteria and shit. So, yeah, I mean, but look, the whole transformation process once you die is like... Yeah. That's very elaborate and complicated. Right? But sometimes it's weird. It's like, sometimes people describe that. It's like really old people. And then like they know they're gonna die. What effectively happens when that happens is that their spirit left their body. And it's basically just running on fumes. It's like, and people say that. It's like, yeah, his spirit already left his body. He's like about to die. That's what it is. Spirit's like, hey, consciousness entangled with the body, we're going now. So make sure to say your goodbyes because it's the last time, right? That's your spirit leaving your body before you're dead. And then you know, it's like it's gonna shut off. Right? And you can like hold it back for a bit because there's something important. And then when it's resolved, it's like, it's let go and boing, last of your spirit leaves. And then you shut down. Anyway, I hope it's not depressing or anything talking about that. But I mean, yeah, that's things that I think about. Like the mechanics, spirit mechanics, right? Okay, well that's a cute opinion, Akumu virus, but it's not based in any logical, real, tested mechanics, though. But hey, you have another model? Fine, you have another model. I'm using this model. I didn't have this model all my life. I pretty much like tried to put things together in the last few years. Reassessing how I define things. Like this. Because I always thought like, oh, that's the soul, right? It's the soul that does it. Because that's like how colloquially it's been rubbed off on us through the things that talk about it, which are usually kind of sourced very dubiously with moral dubious people that drive that. Like Disney, for example, right? You know it's freaking dubious, yeah? But they talk about esoteric things. They give certain impressions. People are gonna have that like roughly imprinted on them, and then you get that weird colloquial thing understanding out of that. Guess what? It's in extreme contrast with, well, this much more refined, developed approach. It's taken very serious, not just colloquially left to be interpreted as however people want it. That's the difference. It's like everything out there, if you just try to figure out based on all these corrupted sources that we continually get confronted with in the world, if you base all your insights on reflecting off that, you're gonna naturally, without even realizing it, end up in the opposite of reality a lot of the time. I've had to learn this the hard way because that's exactly what happened with me in my youth. It's because I trusted it. I trusted the big things. It's like, oh, but they're like, they have creepy people, or they're like weird, they have weird agendas, and it'd be like, yeah, but I mean, how bad can it be? You know? It's like, they're there for a reason. Yeah, well, the reason for them being there is to make you believe the opposite of reality. That's the real reason. They don't overtly tell you, they just tell you things that will make you naturally dwell upon those things and then come to the opposite of reality conclusion naturally. Right, yeah, you're a deist, right? Yeah, okay, virus. Fair enough. What do you mean? So what? This corporation? You've seen it have what? Are you referring to something that I was talking about or somebody in chat? Right. Anyhow, man, my show is 2.5 hours. Wow. This show just won't stop. Well, yeah, the weather's really beautiful though. I mean, look at this. It's just pristine blue. And there's a moon out. The moon right over there. I think the camera could pick it up, but it's right over there. You see the moon? It's so silly, man. I can just see it right there with my eyes. Right there, bright and clear. And this cam just won't pick it up. It just doesn't see it. It should be like right in the middle of the camera position here. You don't see it. So I can literally see it with my eyes. I just won't see it. The cam. Very frustrating. A rock reflecting sunlight? No. You're an idiot if you leave that. That's not a rock. That's a frickin' hologram. Yeah. A rock doesn't just disappear from sight without leaving any kind of shadow or contrast for 3 days straight. Alright, so yeah, maybe I'm gonna go the show a little longer. Maybe I'll go to 3 hours for a change, but I am gonna take a 2-minute break though, so I'll be right back. Wow. Dude, it's so quiet out here. I'm the only one in here, like in the apartment, so it's like nobody's there. I could literally like yell at my full lungs for 50 minutes straight without anybody. Well, eventually somebody's probably gonna call the police if I do that, but like I'm all alone here. This corporate means to leave physical. Oh, right, you were talking about that part, slow mo buggy. Yeah. What the fuck are you talking about, Moxie? It's not funny. Don't address it. It's a troll. Don't do that. It's not funny, or I'll start kicking you out. And I would have appreciated if somebody just banned that. That's a troll. Why are you laughing at a fucking troll sock account? You think that's funny? That people do that? The moon being a hologram is mental? You know, it's real though. There's no object. There's no literal position on Earth. Get the fuck out of here. There's no literal position, yeah? The moon is a hologram, yeah? When you physically move towards the sighting, the angular size of the sighting, the moon, does not increase. Yeah? It's not an object. If it was an object in a Euclidean position in space, you would have angular size increase as you approach. Yeah? You don't. It's not a physical object. It's a weird, highly suggestive hologram that is part of the natural world, and we don't know why it manifests, but it does, cyclically.
all the rest of the celestial lights that are all holograms that have no actual literal position in Euclidean space. None of them do, including the sun. Yeah, the sun, that's right. That thing leaving that massive amount of influence, seemingly. All the light being absorbed at ground level. Yeah, that too is a hologram. It's not a physical object in space that you can approach. And then as you approach, see the angular size of the sighting increase. And then have, like, oh, I'm getting closer to an oven. Oh, look, I'm getting closer. I'm like half the distance now. So now the temperature absorption is doubled, right? Radiation heat. Oh, yeah, there is no such thing. Yeah, there's only being energy absorbed at ground level. Yeah, when you go closer, you don't absorb more heat. You don't see the angular size increase. Nothing. It's a hologram, just like all the other celestials. You gotta deal with it. You have no proof of a physical object being the source of that light. You don't have the evidence. You have no evidence. You don't even have a hint approach of evidence other than, but my eyes are interpreting the sighting as it has to be physical. Yeah, you don't have anything beyond that part. You don't have tangible evidence. You only have ideas, interpretations of what you see, and reification of those interpretations. You don't have physical evidence. Yeah? What do trolls really? Yeah, nothing. Yeah, Guns N' Roses. Yeah, I've had a really great show. It's been 3 hours almost. 2 hours, 41 minutes. So yeah, definitely catch up on that. It was a really great show today. And I might keep going for a while. I mean, why not? And 12 fellas have stood. Yeah, right. Right, yeah, the fuck off. I mean, you go worship NASA. You go do that. Fucktard. You go believe that. I do not trust men that tell me, oh, I've done this, when there is no other lead to that being actual. Yeah? If you're going to rely on information that you cannot cross-reference with others, or you cannot personally falsify, then you are a religious zealot idiot. And it's your fucking problem. Yeah. I mean, any person. I really like this. Owen Benjamin brought this forth on his show yesterday. And he said, if you really believe the moon landings were real, right? Then do a test. Go take a moonlander, right? The moonlander according to specs. And go sit in that thing while it goes underwater. And then you stay in that for an hour, right? Without breathing equipment. You go do that. You go sit in the moonlander underwater. In there. Hey, if you want to do that and you'll survive, then yeah, maybe the moon landing happened then. Huh? How about that? If you dare to go in the moonlander while the moonlander goes underwater and you stay in that thing for an hour, yeah, then we can talk. If you don't, then shut the fuck up. You're an idiot. You are a genuine idiot if you believe it's real. Genuine idiot. As in the official designation, yeah? 25 IQ and lower. Genuine idiot. If you believe that was real. Like idiot to the level where you basically become free-range target for any eugenicist. From their perspective, they have the full right to fuck you up. Fuck you up as bad as they want to. Because you're that fucking stupid. Yeah? Genuine idiot. Harsh, but true. But absolutely factually true, though. Yeah? Genuine idiot if you believe that the moon landing happened with everything that's claimed. Everything. You are a genuine idiot. And you deserve to be targeted by eugenicists who do that. Who target people that are that fucking stupid. That's just what they do. And from my perspective, you kind of deserve it. If you're that fucking stupid, you deserve to be attempted to be tricked, ripped from your money, suggested to do things for your health. Yeah, you deserve all of that. If you're that fucking stupid. Yeah, as long as you hold on to your fucking retard religion, Satanists will rule over you and exterminate you. Yeah? How about that? Ever thought of that? It's true. You buy their bullshit, they have a right to do with you whatever they want. So, keep going. Keep holding on. It's not gonna kill you or anything. I mean, what could go wrong, in this world? Yeah, well, hey, why don't you shut the fuck up, you bitch? Why don't you shut your fucking bitch mouth? You semi-ginger fuckface? Yeah? Why don't you shut your fucking mouth? Bitch? How about that? Bitch? Idiot bitch? Still holding on to the moon landing, you fucking retard? You deserve to be put out of your misery for your fucking idiocy. And it will probably happen. Because people like you hold on to that crap. They're killing everyone. Yeah? That's real. So shut your fucking mouth before you start threatening me indirectly with that bullshit, yeah? You just shut your fucking mouth, Zaptepi. And if you do that ever again, I will fucking kick you out. You hear me? Bitch!
What's the projector for the moon locator?
It's not a projector. It's a non-local hologram, and I don't know where the source is. Yeah? A hologram doesn't move with you as you move. It's not just a argument. It's not just a hologram like that. Holograms are actually the ones that we make. Well, they're so impressive because they seem to be in a specific subject. In a specific location. What the fuck is going on? Yeah, specific location holograms that we make with devices. Yeah? Celestials, they're not local holograms. They're non-local holograms. They're a description. We can't make that. Not that I know of. And nothing else can describe it logically. Yeah? So a non-local hologram is not just, oh yeah, it's just this fucking thing you can buy in a store, you goddamn retard. It's not that. It's not just a fucking device. It's like, oh, it's just this fucking device you can buy in the store. That's the celestial lights. No, it isn't, you goddamn moron. That's not what I'm saying. It's a description. Non-local hologram is a description, not a technology. Getting out? Alright. I'm gonna round out. I guess it's not gonna be a 3 hours. But yeah, I mean, with this bullshit level going on, you fucking threatening me. Yeah, ZepTap, you ever do that fucking again, you're out and you'll stay out. You never talk like that to me. Ever! Ever! Under any circumstances, no matter how seemingly horrendous I talk. Yeah? Never ever fucking talk to me like that. Ever. Ever. You got it? That's the condition for you to be able to be in my chat. Okay, ZepTap? Is that clear? Good. Because one turn against this and you're out. You accept, you carry on, and you shut the fuck up and never say something like that again. It's that simple. Or you're out. Yeah, I'm doing perfectly fine. And I can declare moon landing believers clinical idiots. And remind them that there are eugenicists out here in this world that try to target people that are that fucking stupid. Provably. Historically, they are there and they do that. And I will remind you of that without you fucking threatening my channel indirectly or directly. You got it, bitch? Good. So, thanks everyone for coming. I hope you liked this show. If you did, then please don't forget to Rogan's it up. And if you haven't already, subscribe to my channel and hit the bell notification so you know when I'm going live, which is normally 1 p.m. Amsterdam time in the weekdays and 2 p.m. Amsterdam time in the weekend. And please also do support me through the PayPal and the Patreon. That would be much appreciated. I think I deserved one for an almost 3-hour show today, but I don't know. We'll see if I get some. I really hope so. I mean, I do still require support to get around, guys, so some support every now and then would be great. Keep me out of debt, which I am. I am in debt. Just for the record. I mean, I'll get out of it again, but I am in debt. That's just the fact. So I do need continuous support. Alright, anyhow. I'll be back tomorrow with Flat Earth Early Bird number 1586 on a Sunday. This flat. Yep. My shows are always random. Not really. I mean, yeah, things can come up and sometimes it suddenly gets heated. Yeah. Usually happens when somebody starts shifting into demonic behavior all of a sudden. Right? Because I just happen to be pushing the buttons that I always do. Because I tell people that believe in ball earth things how fucking retarded they are. And I pointed out structurally how that it's real, that they are really stupid for holding on to that. And the consequences that come from that in their lives without my physical interaction with them. Yeah? And then sometimes somebody gets triggered and says something really stupid. Like it's suddenly like, oh, they're like a chicken. They think they can compete with me. Yeah, guess what? You can't. I'm the show host. I can ban people. Yeah? And I will. I will absolutely use that power of dominance to do that. Yeah, no, Septepi, I don't need your fucking advice. I need you to shut your fucking mouth with your fucking threats or you're out. And don't call me a fucking moron, bitch. You shut your fucking mouth. You don't talk to me like that, ever. I don't need your advice on how to keep my channel. You hear me, Septepi? I never need your advice on that. Is that clear? So shut your fucking mouth. Last warning. You come back with that again, you're out. No lip. No talking against. No arguing. You don't bring that up. You don't talk to me like that under any circumstances, no matter how ballistic I go. Is that clear? If not, get the fuck out and never come back. I don't need your advice on how to run my channel. Right. Anyhow. Right, so back tomorrow, 1586 on a Sunday. Until the next video, keep it flat.